We we had this crazy idea. I was playing in a band called the Nervous Wreck, and we started writing an EP, and it was mostly stuff that was my solo contributions that we turned into full band songs. And they dipped about 2 weeks before we were supposed to go to the recording studio and track all this stuff and do a little record or whatever. And so I went down anyway. My good friend Bruce Hunter spotted me the money that I needed to pay for it all, and I cut pretty much the entire thing myself, with the assistance of our producer Lee on the bass on some of the songs.
Danny first contacted me probably about a year ago, I guess now, and set up some time to record his band. About 2 weeks before the session was supposed to start, he called and tells me that the entire band quit, and you know, no worries though, because he's still going to come down and we're still going to make a record. So needless to say, I was a little worried, you know, not having band members. So
I've always wanted to put out a record that I was really proud of, and so to have it now and to be looking at it, actually getting to do it, it's fucking unreal, man. It's a trip.
It's been a ongoing process. We've been making the record for, you know, on and off for almost a year now, and you know, it's coming out really well. I'm super excited about the songs, and you know, can't wait to get this thing done so the world can hear it. And
we've covered so much ground in the span of a year. There are things that I never thought I would be able to say that I'd done, that I get to say that now, you know, and I get to say it with my friends and my family, and we did it together, and it's beautiful. We have a full-length record. We have a cover that we're really excited to present to everybody. It's really sick. We have an album's worth of art and merchandise and, you know, all these things coming together in social media, and we did it all in the span of a year. One of the coolest things about this is watching all these people come together and make this amazing thing happen. And it's such high quality too, you know, like nobody's pulling punches or not giving 110% at any given time when we're doing anything as a unit.
I do all the graphic design work for the band. I was actually homeless at the time, funny enough, going up to these open mic nights that Danny was hosting, and things just kind of fell in place. You know, he heard that I needed a place to crash, and crashed there a day, and then, you know, we started hanging out. Kept crashing there, and then like here we are almost a year later, and you know, he's become my best friend.
In fact, I may be one of the few people involved who was alive in 1978, but how I came to be involved would be through an open mic show I did at a little bar I like up in Beaufort, Georgia, and I met a little skinny long-haired boy with neck ink who I came to know and enjoy his company, and from that point I might have then decided that he was worth my time and he had a little bit of talent. We'll see how that works out.
Just last year, where he said he had songs written and a bunch of stuff to show me, and he comes over and plays the demo versions of, you know, the stuff on the album. It's all his drums, you know, Lee's bass. He did all the instruments. And that was when I decided to do it, because I heard it's like, this is what you've been working on, really? And yeah, I was really impressed, and you know, what better way to spend your time than making music with friends?
I wasn't going to do anything coming out of like hibernation unless I was absolutely positive that it was something I was going to know about, and it's definitely something I'm going to know about. I mean, it's sick music. It's really sick.
Whenever Danny sent me the tracks, I was instantly blown away. I just felt like the sound quality was really good, all the parts were solid, the melodies were catchy. I just felt like I could really like relate to this and connect to the music, and it was something I really wanted to be a part of. I've been really lucky to have a chance to be a part of this.
Holy shit, this is exactly what I wanted to do if I could have created a band on my own.
I wrote a business plan, my guitar player Aaron and I did, and it highlighted that we were going to try to do a brand for a band, the same as a major record label would, but that we could maybe do it ourselves, you know, that we could get the resources that we needed and find the right people, and we've been executing this plan, and it's been incredible to watch.
Kind of like shout outs I would like to say that everything that's been done so far in terms of like production value has been like so freaking cool. You shouldn't want to wait.
You know, most of the projects I work on all kind of have the common thread of at least being somewhere under the large umbrella of rock music. You know, I do a lot of different stuff, but there's definitely an energy in Danny's music that I don't find in a lot of bands I work with, and I've tried to kind of amplify that energy in his production and make sure that his, you know, his true energy and his writing and performance is delivered into the recording. And he's such a expressive vocalist. He's really awesome to work with.
I'm an affiliate producer. That's how I would characterize myself. I give good advice where it's warranted. I give bad advice where I don't know what I'm doing, and I try to help out all around. I've put a little support to the band. I believe in what you do. I think you guys have some talent. Damn, I shouldn't have put that on the record. I like the band. I like the lineup. I think everyone's on board with the vision, which is what makes it. And I think you're doing things right. I think you're going to treat your people well, and you're going to make it a good creative project.
Going to Danny and being like, hey man, what do you think about this? You know, we've really come up with some really awesome designs and images. So basically there's an image for every 2 songs on the album. You know, really capture whatever that was. The cover of the album, which was on our Kickstarter, that, you know, we needed that money, and our friends came through and helped us out on Kickstarter and really, you know, helped us push that through. So you can see the album art on the first video that we posted on the Kickstarter. And, you know, Danny and I just sat down. Well, I mean, it took a couple of nights of us sitting down and working with different images. And, you know, we started out with this original, you know, pattern. It's a 24-point pattern. It's part of sacred Arabic geometry. Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man. That was, you know, a big element.
Success is poison. You gotta watch for that. It should never be about the things that come. The things that come are handy. You're gonna buy your parents a house. You're gonna do things like that. You're gonna make it work out for you. But that's not what it's about. What it's about should be the start of it. It should be carrying through the vision, putting forward what you need to put forward, giving people what they should have, and being true to the vision. That was real platitude, but there's something to it.
So just the fact that it is something that I can, not only do I get behind, but I wish I had created, in essence that, you know, it kind of feels like it's already something that I was part of, especially because Danny and I have gelled off of each other's music ever since we started to know one another, and ever since we started kind of like writing, and just like, you know, letters home, like back and forth, we would talk to each other and show each other what we've been doing, what he's been doing, what I've been doing, and I feel like we have kind of influenced each other on such a level that now when I listen to the album and I listen to where it's going and how I'm involved and how we're involved, it feels like I was involved from the beginning in a weird way. Especially I hear things and I'm like, I can see how I had an influence on Danny to have this kind of a sound. Everybody that I'm playing alongside, they know what they're doing. They are wholeheartedly interested in the idea, not just aesthetically as this like environment where they can just get out all of their kind of like dream rages where they want to do something but they're not sure how to go about it or something like that, or they're just getting into it. These are like experienced individuals, like on a production level, on a musicianship level. It's like everybody involved is intensely talented.
My role in all of this has been to try to just take all of these amazing ideas that are pouring out of Danny and sort of add a little more organization and just sort of pick through everything that's coming out of him and find the stuff that's just really golden and take those directions and kind of help him steer clear of the ideas that are not so great. And, you know, because every artist has amazing ideas and other ideas that are not so great, so I try to always let him know like what I feel like he's put on the table that's really awesome, and if I feel like he's focusing on something that's not the greatest idea, I try to, you know, let him know and get him off that path as quick as we can.
Lee is a special character. And there are a lot of people in this business that will give you a lot of fake promises or use your desire to advance to their own advantage, or will just be basically full of a lot of bullshit to enrich their own position. And Lee is not that kind of guy. He's a very straight shooting, very cynical kind of guy with a dry sense of humor, you know. These are the things that work, these are the things that don't, these are the bands that I've seen be successful, and these are bands that I've seen not be successful, and here's why.
This is one place that I have failed as a producer.
Actually, it's both questions. You
Yeah.
got the something awesome, and then you got the something you shouldn't have done.
Yeah, this song came into being, like, it's an outro to the record. It was going to be just acoustic. And then Danny thinks, you know, maybe there should be a big heavy ending to the whole thing, so he lays down a rhythm guitar part that's completely freestyle, and it's just random parts after random parts, and there's no real rhyme or reason to how it all works.
It's all heavy and it sounds badass.
Which was great when it was one guitar. But then we had to figure out how to play drums to it, how to play bass to it. There's no pattern, it's impossible to follow. So we're pretty much doing it like, you know, 2 notes at a time, trying to get it done. No, other than that, though, once it's done, it's going to be amazing. So maybe in that sense, I haven't failed as a producer. I just bit us off more work than we were ready for.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. We're loving it right now. It's super cool.
It's really been quite a production. It's taken about a year, in fact, a little bit over a year, I would say, to put all of it together. The longest part of it, no doubt, was the actual recording of the music, because that happened in sessions over a long period of time. I've been involved with it since the beginning because I've known Danny for years and years, and however, this is the first project that I really started working with him on, in the aspect as a photographer and videographer for the various visual media on the album. I think that the band has managed to really put together a unique sound, because every one of the members has had different influences, you know, musical influences in their lives, and what they've done here is really become sort of an amalgamation of all of their different influences. I know that Danny has a real background in blues and punk rock and stuff like that, and you can definitely hear that. I think that the album is really based heavily on blues riffs and scales and stuff like that. But then, you know, other people in the band like Matt and whatnot bring a jazz aspect to it. It's definitely, every member has certainly contributed to the sound, I think.
Music, man, that is, yeah, I guess my artwork's cool and all, but the music is really the strong point here. You know, it's the reason we're all here. Danny has really written an amazing album, and you know, I'm not just saying that because I'm involved in the whole process of it. Like, you know, if I thought it was shitty music, I wouldn't be involved. Obviously, Alamo being one of the singles, that song goes really hard. There's another song, Gold Across the Sea, which also goes almost equally as hard, I do believe. And then you also have, you know, we had what, 3 acoustic tracks on there. Just the musicianship and the vocal talent that Danny possesses is unlike anything I've seen in many, many years come from anyone.
To narrow it down, it is just that. There's so many people that could have a good time with this, and so many people that could gel off of it and gel off of one another in kind of like digging it. It's not all fucking pretentious because I'm relating it to goddamn jazz.
It's been one of the coolest things about this, is watching all these people come together and make this amazing thing happen. And it's such high quality too, you know, like nobody's pulling punches or not giving 110% at any given time when we're doing anything as a unit.
For the most part, I tried to let Danny be what he is, because what he is pretty awesome, as is, so.
Yeah.
You know.
The process of doing this record, like the time frame, as where we are now, it's been just over exactly a year. At least from the time when Danny brought his demos and rough mixes to me. What are they doing?
I feel like people will definitely grab onto this stuff, and you know they'll love it.
Okay.
If there's ever an opportunity that Danny and I could work together in the future, I would jump all over that. I feel like we have really good chemistry, and I just feel like it would be really fun.
Yeah, I guess my artwork's cool and all, but the music is really the strong point here. You know, it's the reason we're all here. Danny has really written an amazing album, and you know, I'm not just saying that because I'm involved in the whole process of it. Like, you know, if I thought it was shitty music, I wouldn't be involved. Obviously, Alamo being one of the singles, that song goes really hard. The official coined genre of this album is backwoods, boom stomp, moonshine, indie rock. And basically what that means is, yeah, you know, we can have some really awesome, you know, ballad type songs with acoustic guitars and this and that, but we're some motherfuckers from the South, and we're not going to forget that. And I think that really comes through on the music.
Well, it's cool because, you know, Jack, Aaron, Danny, and Matt are all killer musicians that have, you know, really great styles of playing. They all excel in each of their areas, and some of them excel in other areas that they're not even necessarily, you know, like, some of them are not just great at one instrument, they excel in different areas. So you see them drawing influences from like a lot of different types of music, a lot of different genres, a lot of different eras of music, and so that kind of helps shape their sound. And so you sit down and you listen to the album, whether you listen to it in its entirety, or whether you just, you know, pick a few tracks to kind of sample it if you're not familiar with the music at all. You hear lyrically some stuff that's very relatable, very identifiable. There's a thread of commonality in a lot of their stuff that people can listen to and say, I felt that way, or I feel that way, or I've experienced that. And it's not like, oh, that's a love song, this is lovely, I was in love. It's just the way lyrically that it's driven is one that that people can just get down on and enjoy because they've got something that they share with that. And you know, aside from the lyrics alone, there's just a lot of different variety in the sound of the band. None of it's too indulgent in any one sector or aspect. It's like if you go to Baskin Robbins, they got like 31 flavors. Well, like they're all pretty good flavors, right? But you just go through and you get a spoon and you take a little bit of each one and you mix it up and you stick it in a cone and you eat the hell out of that cone. That's kind of what their sound is. It draws from, you know, really, really rich blues. It draws from like great kind of, you know, era-defining punk rock. There is, you know, I think Jack described it, there is a little bit of pop to it. Not in a Backstreet Boy kind of way, but just in terms of, I think people mistake pop and positivity sometimes. But there's definitely a lot of positivity in the album as well. And it's got that Southern rock feel. I don't care if you live in the North or not. Southern rock is just its own breed of badass riffs, great composition, and it's something that you can't get anywhere else but the South.
Bluesy, jazzy, pop, roots, Southern, and I think that what it allows for is it is wholly accessible, and it is going to evolve to be something that is just more transmuted in that sense and more polished.
What we didn't know was what it took to shoot a music video, and we found out rather quickly exactly what was needed, and it was a lot more than we expected, honestly.
It was a great idea, the whole bonfire video shoot. It was great, and hopefully Taylor's managed to put it together and make it good, but it was a disaster from logistics, because I've done event management. I know what that's about. And you had people showing up at all kinds of times, the directions were bad, Google Maps couldn't get them there, there was no parking, there was no toilet, there was nothing. You had nothing. And from nothing came something, so God bless.
Everybody came out and put their work in, and just Jack and Aaron and Matt threw down incredible performances, dude. They went hard. Everybody did. We wanted to film this thing in, you know, some fields and show, you know, our appreciation for our Southern heritage and our love for the outdoors and all that good stuff.
The day that we shot the Alamo music video, I was not actually, at the time, down to be shooting. I was only there to assist with whatever they needed. And I know that Taylor had someone who was probably going to AC it for it, but they were ill that day and just could not make it. And so I had never really shot much video before, and I stepped in and shot what I could, and it turned out to be quite, you know, good work, and we ended up using the takes, so. The first day of it went by pretty much without a hitch. However, the second day, the bonfire scenes out in the field in the mountainous areas of northern Georgia, that was a bit difficult because it had been raining earlier on. We were shooting out in the field, and so it was very muddy. Pretty much everything came back from that covered in mud. And
first day, Danny and I were awake for 40 plus hours at the end of it. We didn't sleep the night before. We took care of all of our errands and such that we needed to do before we drove to the shooting location, which included driving to Athens, Georgia, and back the morning before the shoot.
Initially, we're going to have a performance narrative and a performance piece, the farm kind of wide outdoor shot, then the narrative that we ended up scrapping and replacing with the shots of the warehouse performance shop. And then the final night was going to be how we kind of tied and showed everybody kind of coming together as, you know, all these different people, different walks of life, different personalities, upbringings, different, you know, just so many differences. We wanted to bring it all together and show that, you know, what Danny kind of underscored and showed us the nature of his project was to show that, you know, no matter who you are, what's really important is to be all that you can be, to give 110% in everything that you do, and to love and take care of everybody around you. So we wanted to do that through this really epic bonfire. So Darren and Wayne Orr let us use their property up in Dawsonville. It's like 115 acres with, you know, they got donkeys, you know, horses, all kinds of, it's just a huge property, and this farm is just beautiful.
Giant bonfire party, and like a crap ton of our friends came out and had a blast. You know, shooting that video was one of the most empowering things I think I can say that I've ever done. You know, having that level of energy being given to you by people, and, you know, putting on a performance in that manner. I played tons of shows, you know, like tons. I've toured all over the place, and nothing was quite like that. That was really cool.
On the first property, the day before we shot, there was a day gap in between the two shoots, and on that gap day, a tornado tore through the first the property where we were shooting it first, tore through the property, so that was crazy. So anyway, it had been raining for like 3 days prior to this. The field was muddy. There were, you know, areas that were, you know, you couldn't walk in without getting your shoes wet. We had to, you know, tape off those areas so nobody would get, you know, soaking wet. And then we commenced to partying. Got some really awesome shots thanks to Mr. Taylor Graves, Mr. Ian Smith, and Darren Orr, right, was also shooting on that one. Got a really awesome crowd. That was really neat, being able to use, you know, the natural landscape of the property. And then moved the party indoors, got our little warehouse scenes, or, you know, whatever you want to call that, workshop scenes. So that was day one. By the time, like I said, by the time we were done with that, Danny and I had been awake for over 40 hours, which was really brutal. There was a lot of, you know, besides the fact that we were there shooting, there was a lot of running around and stuff to be done, you know. I came out of that shoot muddy, really muddy. I fell in the mud twice when I was in the pit.
Wagon wheels and whiskey barrels and all kinds of the horns on my amp. That was my favorite thing.
It's so awesome to see, and I just can't wait till the music video's out. I just can't wait to see it. And you should wait to see it. Well, you should wait, but you shouldn't want to wait.
actually tempted to say something ridiculous.
What are my views on prostitution? Like one of my biggest soapboxes is one of the biggest things I have a problem with is how we treat women today and how little respect we have. There's a really big problem today with sex trafficking, and
Atlanta's like,
I mean, it's a big deal. There's a really big issue today, and I say today, it's not just today, it's an ongoing problem. It's something that is hard to stamp out, but sex trafficking is a big issue. One of my biggest problems is I've known almost every girlfriend I've ever had has been raped, dealt with either, being molested, raped, some kind of like assault on a woman because she's fragile, because she's something that is easy to take advantage of, because she's beautiful. And so in terms of like prostitution, in terms of sex trafficking, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I can to get involved and like stop it. Like that's become one of my like main prerogatives like in my young adult life, to like fight that. What's important is that so many young males don't understand, once again, soapboxing, like how little like weight they put in the way that they treat women and the way that they act around women. And I realize that we're supposed to be talking about champs and stuff, but this is definitely like a big deal. Too many dudes are just really callous to the way they like respond to the community. Keep this positive. Let's scrap all the negatives.
To be able to do that every night, it just makes me all hot and sweaty.
I decorate my bathroom with cold blues, muted purples, and reds.
Thank you.
1978 champs. Get ready, because we're coming.
So far today you've heard us talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of art and music that we're really excited to get into you guys' hands. But we wanted to take a moment to talk about something different. It's a problem that's plaguing our nation in both the cities and suburbs, and it's everywhere you look and turn. The problem that we're talking about is underage sex trafficking. Jack Fowler highlighted earlier, it's a system of child abduction, of abuse both physical and chemical, and of rape. This horrible network exists in every major city in our fair country, and it aims to target our youth. We've chosen to highlight a company called Innocence Atlanta. They're working actively in our city to educate the public about sexual exploitation and child sex trafficking. We think they've got some great resources and some great ways you guys can get involved and helped, and it's our sincerest hope that you'll go check them out and see what they're all about, because this is a problem that not only means a lot to us, it threatens all of us. Anybody with a little brother or a sister or a kid, I mean, there are people out there that aim to make them slaves and do horrible things, and we just think that's completely unacceptable, and we think it's something that we together can stop and combat, and we hope you'll take it to heart like we did. Thank you guys so much.